I apologize for not making a more formal announcement of the channel rebrand to Tailosive Life, but that's kind of the whole point of this refresh and update, is to be a bit less professional, a bit less formal, and to be a bit more personal. And we actually thought about this for a long time because I noticed that I haven't been making this channel super active in recent history, and that's mostly because I've just kind of accepted that the internet is mostly interested in my thoughts on technology. That refers to Apple and Tesla for the most part. We occasionally talk about other brands, but most of my career, I'm willing to accept, is going to be talking about Apple and Tesla over on Tailosive Tech and Tailosive EV. And I've tried many times to get other genres of YouTube channel off the ground and never really found the same amount of interest from viewers, both my existing ones and new ones. But I'm still not opposed to occasionally posting those other kinds of genres. But in 2023, instead of like coming up with, for the 8th time in a row, some other big master plan to make all of my channels more active, I decided, you know what, Drew, you've tried to do that many times and it's never really gone anywhere. So why don't you just focus on what you're good at, which is Tailosive Tech and Tailosive EV. And I use the term good at loosely there, but we do absolutely love documenting our travel experiences. And every once in a while, I get an idea for a video that doesn't really belong on Tailosive Tech or Tailosive EV, but it just pertains to my more personal life, whether that's finance related, whether that's travel related. And we do sporadically and occasionally get ambitious enough to want to talk about food and how it tastes and where we had it. And occasionally we might do a cooking stream and that kind of thing. But we realized that it probably didn't make as much sense for the future of a lot of these channels to be so picky about where they're posted, especially when a lot of the time our Tailosive food content is based on where we're traveling to. So rather than get so picky about, oh no, that's a video for Tailosive Talks and this is a video for Tailosive Food, we realized, you know what, most people are just going to watch Tailosive Tech or Tailosive EV, but there's occasionally some people that want to follow my personal life a bit more regularly. So rather than be so specific about what in my personal life you want to follow, we figured let's combine those two, because I can't necessarily say I'm going to be posting to Tailosive Life all the time or to Tailosive Food all the time, but if there's only one additional channel for my more personal thoughts on life, then the likelihood of this channel staying monetized and more regularly active increases if we combine the content of food and talks and put it in one place. This was partially inspired because YouTube has recently allowed us to start monetizing shorts, and both me and my wife have started realizing that, you know, we can't commit a ton of time to Tailosive Talks or Tailosive Food, but shorts are something that don't take too much editing or too much time out of our days, and they don't distract us too much from the trip or the experience that we're going through on any particular day. But you know, YouTube, if you fall below that 4,000 hour a year threshold, won't let your channel remain monetized. So food, in the first place, we never got monetized because it was never very active in the first place. And there's other channels in the Tailosive network that have recently been demonetized just due to lack of activity. So thankfully, Tailosive Life has not. And because we may sporadically in the future want to do a cooking stream or just a catch up with my dad or my mom or something kind of live stream podcast, and we'd love for the super chat options to still be there, we've decided that kind of consolidating a lot of the content to one place that more better encompasses my personal life would be better for the future of the channel and just overall result in a channel that has more activity opposed to a channel that gets one upload every 6 or 7 months. And we did talk about the rebranding of the name a bit. Like, I realized that a lot of my videos that I was posting on here were not necessarily talks anymore. It was just, you know, we want to showcase this food that we're trying today. And there's not much talking going on. We're just kind of filming something that we experienced and throwing it up on the internet for you guys to experience. Same thing with traveling. A lot of the time, there's not so much talks. It's just, here's where we are. Here's what we like. And I felt like when we started this channel as Tailosive Talks, it was intended more as a podcasting slash sit down, let's have a conversation type video. Whereas now it's definitely morphed into more of a, you know, let's do vlogs about traveling, let's do shorts about food, or let's do cooking about food. And therefore the talks is not really the main emphasis of it. So for a while I was thinking of rebranding it to Tailosive Lifestyle because I thought that could kind of encompass both the travel, the food, and the occasional sit down and talk video. But actually what kind of influenced my decision was Twitter said that Tailosive Lifestyle was too long. And also I like to be more minimal. I like names that are short and simple and easy to roll off the tongue. And that's why we were very close to just rebranding this channel to Tailosive and and nothing else, because we thought, well, you know, if it's not about tech and it's not about EV and it's just purely about our lives, then maybe let's just keep it real short and sweet. But ultimately, I kind of realized if we called it Tailosive, then we have to refer to it as the main channel or the regular Tailosive channel, or, you know, if you don't have a suffix, kind of like how the budget iPad doesn't have a suffix, people kind of have to invent their own suffix to add to it. So I said, no, let's make sure we have a tagline, but lifestyle is too long, and, you know, personal life is also way longer and more complicated. But I found that word life continuously coming up a lot of the time in our naming schemes, and Tailosive Life on Twitter was short enough to, of course, get that handle, and YouTube let us take that one. So I thought that kind of summarized a lot of what we do on this channel. You know, talking about travel, talking about food, or talking about finance, that all pertains to our life. And I think that's kind of simple. I like the simplicity of it. It is technically less letters than Tailosive Talks, which is also a good thing for checking my minimal naming scheme booklet. And we just think this kind of better describes the type of content that is going on this channel moving forward. And yes, this does mean that Tailosive Food as a channel will no longer be active. We're not going to post to that anymore. For all of our food related content, we're just going to post that here instead, because now it's already monetized, whereas on that channel it wasn't. And it's not really that it's all about the money, because of course this channel's not making a ton of money, but we'd rather just, if we're going to post shorts or we're going to do live streams, it'd be better if they were monetized opposed to not, even if they're not making that much. And I just felt like if I need to narrow my focus a bit and stop struggling to keep, you know, 15 different YouTube channels active, new strategy for me in 2023 is to just focus on a fewer number of channels and keeping those as active as possible. I'm just trying to learn, trying to grow, and trying to be a bit more realistic about what I have the time to do. And on that same path of minimalization, that's why I also rebranded Tailosive Movie Reviews to Tailosive Media, because that's what we had in the Discord channel for talking about movies and TV shows and that kind of thing. And I'm a big fan of Red Letter Media, and they review movies and TV shows. So I thought, hey, Movie Reviews is a bit too long, and we didn't even have that Twitter handle because Movie Reviews was too long. So we had the original name for that channel, which was Tailo Leftovers, because I don't know why my brain thought that was a good name, but originally the logo for movie reviews and TV shows was going to be a popcorn bucket tipped over. So I said, let's call it Tailosive Leftovers, but then we'd never really used that logo and no one really got the joke. So I was like, yeah, it's weird that we still have Tailo Leftovers as a Twitter handle, so let's just change it to Tailosive Media so it's the same on Twitter as it is on YouTube. And I don't really have a ton of plans for that channel other than just the occasional posting of a movie review or a thought, but I leave that up to Dan, the movie man, and Mike. Whenever they want to post something, they can on Tailosive Media. But in terms of what I can focus on a more daily basis, definitely tech and EV are like my primary income. Those are like my day jobs. But Tailosive Life, I think, is where I'll be spending the most amount of my time productivity-wise outside of the tech field. And I don't know how frequent that will be, but I can guarantee you it'll be more frequent than any other non-tech channel in the network, because I've just kind of accepted I'm not a gamer, so I just can't really get gaming off the ground. And it also makes sense in my view because Tailosive Life is the most heavily subscribed channel outside of the tech stuff. So if this is the biggest channel and it has the most amount of recurring watch time thanks to other videos that are still kind of ticking off in the background, like my videos about my psoriasis and my medication, there's still some people watching those and commenting on them pretty frequently, which I'm very grateful for, and that inspires me to want to talk a little bit more about health, and that kind of goes in line with the food content as well. So I think the more we debated merging food and talks into something different, the more sense it made, and I think for the success of the channel, it will also pay off too, to have more monetized content all in one place, and to make sure that the watch time stays high enough for this channel to remain monetized, opposed to the other channels in the network which weren't active enough to keep monetization status. So I hope this long tangent kind of made some sort of sense as to why we rebranded. Sorry if you were confused as to why it just kind of suddenly changed without warning, but I've got some more video ideas planned for this channel that I think better encompass that Tailosive Life branding and how it's not just purely talking anymore, but especially expect us to keep this channel pretty active with shorts when it comes to food related content or travel related content. So I appreciate you all sticking around through these inactive times and active times and rebrands and all that. It really means a lot to me that so many of you are interested in the more personal side of my life, and we've definitely got a lot of huge trips coming up later this year, so expect more content about that here. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have an excellent rest of your day. Take care.